If you had to choose how you died, how you go? Probably a supermassive black hole. Being killed by one of the most massive and powerful objects in the universe sounds kinda neat. Plus time moved slower the closer you are to it, meaning you could witness the end of the universe before being torn apart by tidal forces that are being smothered to death by boobs. I think this one would be the most interesting for your last moments. I won't say which one I am referring to. Peacefully in my sleep, and 120 years old, in perfect health, riding a nuclear missile that is crashing into an alien mothership. Was that an Independence Day? More a combination of Doctor Strangelove and Independence Day. While walking I just drop dead for no reason, and it becomes a mystery like I am just walking then. Then I blink, I am in heaven, then they will make a BuzzFeed unsolved video about me. On my own terms after I felt my life was fulfilled. Physician-assisted euthanasia. This is what I would want. If my body is broken beyond repair and I've lived a good life, I want to go out on my own terms without putting my family through the grief of dealing with a suicide ID case specifically, but I've always wanted to die in the most hilarious or ironic way possible. Like if your laptop exploded while you were typing this comment. Phone, but yeah, in my own bed, at the age of 80, with a belly full of wine and a girl's mouth around my cock. My answer has not changed since I learned at age 7 that diamonds are carbon and people are also carbon, compressed by immense pressure into a diamond. You or your ashes? Yes. Who says I'm going to die? Also, if I were to die, I'd want my enemy to stab me in my left side, under my rib cage. But then I stab them too in their left and we both bleed out on a marble floor whilst talking about how it was nice to go against each other and how we have feelings for each other. Then the enemy dies. One. Terror strolls down my cheek. It starts snowing. My lungs and cheeks are burning from the frost. I breathe one more icy breath. Dies. You should be an author. Twerked to death, blood everywhere. Have you seen The Boys? I would want to be the first victim of a future notorious serial killer so that the true crime nerds will remember me. Why be the victim when you could be the notorious killer him, herself? The death sentence seems like a great way to die for me. In my opinion at least. TBH, I could get behind being an assassin for that same reason. It's just hard to get away with killing people long enough to be notorious. Quietly, painlessly in my sleep. Dying in some wacky, weird or painful way is overrated. Saving someone else's life, writing a comment on Reddit, then kicking the BU. I want to die like my grandfather died, peacefully in his sleep, not like the screaming passengers on his mountain tour bus. Edit. Thanks for the awards, guys. My first ones. Thank you very much. Death by Snoo Snoo. The spirit is willing but the flesh is spongy and bruised. Welding a flaming sword while riding Aslan into an army of Daleks. Edit. Wielding. I have no intention of spending my final moments welding a sword together while at Tapa. Neeson voiced Big Cat. Some reason I read this as riding Asians into an army of D***KS. The most brutal, painful way possible. No pain, no gain. You have caught my attention. How about a Viking funeral, but instead of you being dead you get burned alive while floating out too? See? If you really want to go the Viking route, what you're looking for is being executed by a blood eagle. When they cut you back open and pull out your lungs and ribs. Indeed it is. Aldous Huxley asked his wife to inject him with 100 micrograms of acid on his deathbed. Dying while tripping balls would be quite the experience. Peaceful in my sleep. I want to be at peace with life. Realize life has no more to offer. Then, a few weeks later, I got to bed one night and just don't wake up. Then I get to see my mom and my dear cat Tom again. Your comment just fucked me up when you said my dear cat Tom. Mate, I lost my bestest girl this year as well. Still not completely over it. There's a scene in Monty Python The Meaning, Not Life where the old man is being chased by topless women in roller derby outfits, and he finally runs off a cliff into an already open grave with mourners waiting. That's how I wanna go. Maybe shot in the back of the head, or just go in my sleep. How many people can I take with me? Airplane pilot. It's funny how you ask this on your cake day. I found it interesting, so I thought, why not? Maybe I'll get some karma. I like your honesty. I'm a wimp, so I'd want to die in my sleep. In a base jumping accident after my doctor said I have a week to live. Euthanasia. It must be good to die like just sleeping, without suffering. I want an atomic bomb directly in my face. I've always joked that I would commit suicide as a public act of protest so that no one has to suffer through the same thing I've suffered through. Like just stand up, yell, "I can't take this anymore," and end myself. But during something terribly boring like traffic, school, or church, so that others will think twice about forcing someone to go skydiving into an active volcano. Same way I came into the world. Naked and screaming, but not covered in blood and amniotic fluid, and inside your mom. But those are all the best parts. Mimic chest. I mean, at least you die thinking you about to strike it rich. On the pinnacle of the best orgasm ever. White paint spray painted on my mouth. Yelling, "Witness me," quote, while topless and hopping between war vehicles. Good times. Spontaneous combustion. Just to randomly burst into flames would be great. I would love to die after I felt my life was fulfilled personally and the people I loved were all happy and with a stable life. I would probably go to some isolated place in the mountains and die peacefully looking at the moon. Would be pretty good. Inside a woman. You lost your chance as soon as you left the womb. That's a great roast. Cocaine, hookers plural, booze, and a heart attack with 70 plus. By eating too much cheese. Sounds plausible. 1. Slender young woman. Natural breasts. 2. Sexy time. 3. Orgasm. Followed by massive stroke. I mean the kind of stroke that kills you. Not the kind, you know. The fuck. You must mean a brain aneurysm, where your brain literally just gives up and dies. Like I told my rabbi when I was 7, in my bed and in my sleep at the ripe old age of 100. In the most violent way possible. Specifically murdered. But the murder can never be caught. I want the chance to have a true crime doc about me. If I can't be famous in life, I sure as hell will be in death. If a plane goes higher than normal and the pilot depressurizes the cabin, you die slowly and gently, without feeling anything. So I guess at Malaysia Flight 370 identified just this. Yes. I've always wanted to die by skydiving into a volcano while surfing on a shark. By opening a parachute in a tornado. Seems like fun for a little bit. What happens if you would survive? Probably a million broken bones and wishing I was dead. Axe fight. In my sleep, surrounded by my son, grandkids, great-grandchildren, and their spouses. That's kinda weird. I watched my grandfather take his last gasps and flatline in front of me. Trust me, it's not as peaceful as you'd imagine. More selfish, really. Same thing with my uncle. Shit traumatized the fuck out of 11-year-old me. Big boom. When I was younger, I believed world would end in 2012, but not the horrible way they showed in the movie, but like in an instant. Boom, monsieur, I think that would be a nice way to go. Knowing that you aren't leaving anything behind and no one is going to be lonely afterwards. Shot in the head while I'm sleeping. Inside you. I'd like to live until the sun expands and devours the earth. I think witnessing that would be cool. Carbon monoxide, just sleep. That's actually super painful, cause your blood won't accept it as oxygen. And you'll basically suffocate. Overdose on coffee. In my sleep, smiley face. Happy cake day. Thanks, and I would probably like that way the best. Old age. Make the most of life while it lasts. Decapitation. Whole big thing. Okay, Creed. We had a funeral for a bird, pretty sure none of that's real, you're not real. Painlessly. I hate pain. Something quick, so I don't feel any pain. After the last brown dwarf becomes a black neutron star, I want to observe the last black hole evaporate. After that, I hope to have already been able to transition to other realities that I expect to have similar longevity issues. I want to last the last reality of all of existence, and die effortlessly between the abstract concepts that collapse in on themselves as everything ceases to exist, alongside a cute anime girl, smothered by a body pillow. Okay, it's your death. Shot on Main Street by Donald Trump. Let's see if he was right. Well, if he shoots you on 5th Avenue, he won't lose any votes. If he shoots you on Main Street, then maybe he will. Well, I am the pirate man, so it makes sense to go out in a cowboy shootout with the law. To a pirate ship awaiting me at sea. I find out that one of my crew is a snitch. Kill him. Sail out to sea, fighting boats upon boats of the law. Finally, when I am on all out of ammo and the law are still chasing, the battle lasting for hours, some law coming from halfway across the state, they begin to board the boat. With no guns to protect myself with, I use hand-to-hand combat. I get the first couple down, but one gets on the boat, and in an epic battle, I throw punch after punch. Finally, after that one goes down, one puts a gun to my head. Slowly, I turn around, in an attempt to save my skin from him. I yank the gun from his hand. He is faster, and pulls the trigger. I lost. My life snuffed out in an instant. Before my kids, if I'm lucky. In my own bed, with a belly full of wine and a maiden's mouth around my cock, at the age of 80. Well done. Came here to see, post this, and I wasn't disappointed. Being put to sleep surrounded by my closest friends and family. I then drift off to the great unknown in peace. Heart stops in my sleep. Which is how my brother died. Sounds like a good way to go, but I'm sorry about your brother. Thick anime thighs. Suicide. I want to be in control of my death, not some disease. You okay? Why do you ask? It's just a matter of controlling my life and death, RLLY. If you really want to know. No could be better but not suicidal. I want to die in my sleep peacefully like my grandfather. Not screaming in terror like his passengers. Last episode of Cowboy Bebop. Right when the credits roll. I've only watched episode 1 though. I wanna watch more. Bang. Quickly. My heart stops and it's over. Preferably while I'm asleep. Although the trauma that would cause my family makes me sad. I'd want to just drift out of my body while on a few tabs of LSD. Death by SNU. I want to die being remembered. People like Alexander Hamilton and Martin Luther King Jr., they'll be remembered for a long time. And I want to be remembered for changing the world. Maybe on the battlefield, or being assassinated. I want to be known. I just don't know how. I know it sounds ridiculous, but that's how I want to die. Dying of laughter. Head-on crash with a semi in which it wasn't my fault, so my daughter can get a big payout and not have to take care of me once I become too debilitated to care for myself. Your username begs to differ. I work in a small cinema. 2 screens. We once had a lady that came for a screening and died in her seat watching a documentary. No one around her noticed anything. I think that's just wonderful. Doing something you love and falling peacefully asleep. Perfect. Scuba diving with nitrous instead of oxygen. Or OD on opiates when I'm old AF. That would just suffocate you with some extra steps. During my own birth. Death by Snoo. The spirit is willing but the flesh is spongy and bruised. It time SNOO. In my own bed, at the age of 80, with a belly full of wine and a girl's mouth around my cock. Thank you so much for watching and have a good day.